YouTube, what's going on, man? Thank you for coming back today for another video on the channel. This is something a little bit different today. We're going to be discussing more about the game than actually playing the game for you on video. In my opinion, we're going to be talking about why FIFA needs to change and where they need to change for the longevity of the game. As a foot founder who's been playing FIFA since the start of FIFA 09 for FIFA Ultimate Team versions, and I've played previous generations before that. I've probably played all the generations of FIFA, to be honest, since they came out. And I feel like I'm speaking with a lot of experience on how the game has deteriorated, how the game has progressed in certain areas. You know, has got better in some areas, but it's also got worse and worse in terms of gameplay. Now, let's just start off with FIFA in general. Obviously, first FIFA I ever played was FIFA 99, but I have played the ones before that because, you know, being a kid, they were still out at the time, and I could manage to get my hands on a cheeky little copy version. But we don't tell no one about that because you can get done for that. But FIFA 99 was my first experience, and then obviously FIFA 2000, 2001, 2002, the World Cup. And for me, the game was sort of okay as a kid on playing on PlayStation or even on computer. It was pretty decent. You know, the passing did where you wanted to go. The shooting was okay. I know it was a bit assisted, and the passing was a bit assisted, but you know, it sort of progressed nicely, and then obviously continued to first year of Ultimate Team in FIFA 99. When Ultimate Team first came out, you were given your start team, and obviously then you could progress further and further and further, trying to get the better players. You know, you played online game modes, you played offline game modes, offline tournaments, online tournaments, which you have essentially won packs and you won trophies. Now, when FIFA 09 first came out, you like I said, you started off with a base player, but you also had a chance to have yourself in the game. You could create a version of yourself like you could in pro clubs, and you could use that player for X amount of games, and you can keep progressing them through the attribute boosts. Now, the attribute boosts back in the day were permanent boosts, so you could essentially take a bronze player and keep boosting him and boosting him and boosting until he became a gold player. And the attributes kept going up, his rating kept going up like they would in game on career mode or in pro clubs or Volta. I don't even play Volta, but you know, just I'm trying to get the example of the attributes would go up the more you boost the stats. And you know, it was good because when you boosted the stats, you could actually feel the difference in the player. You could actually feel the difference in his speed, his passing, his shooting, and his dribbling. Even regardless of how tall he was, regardless of his body shape, you could feel the difference. Now, if we transition that into this year's FIFA and last year's FIFA, that's essentially what the chemistry styles are for. You give your bloke a hunter, you give your bloke a finisher. They're supposed to boost them shooting and dribbling stats and pace stats, but they don't do it to the maximum amount that they should be doing it. And the reason for that, I think, is because EA have coded it into their game that if your bloke's 6 foot or over, or even if he's 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", but he's got a stocky body type, he won't turn as agile as he would do if he was Neymar or Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, Pele, Eusebio, Cruyff. You get the gist where I'm going with this, but that's not the way it should be. If your game, if you paid money, not real money, we'll get into that later, but if you paid in-game currency to get a chemistry star and you put it on your player to boost his dribbling stats, shooting stats, or passing stats, they should do what they say on the 10, but they don't. And that's where one of the areas where and why FIFA needs to change. Another example, if we go further back, would be, let me just talk about last year's FIFA, because the attribute cards were still in the game. Let me know in the comments how it was for you, because I know when I personally put an attribute card on someone, I felt the difference in their stats. I felt the difference in their pace. I felt the difference in their shooting and passing and dribbling and whatever. You know, we keep going on and on. Did you feel the difference? Let me know. But this year, I know they've taken the attribute cards out, but that's what the chemistry styles are supposed to be replacing. I know the chemistry styles have been there for years on end. Well, years and years for now, a couple of years maybe. But this year, that's the whole emphasis behind chemistry styles. They're supposed to replace the attribute cards. They're supposed to help boost your players so you could use certain types of players, but you can't do that. You can't take your favourite player. So you can't take Toni Kroos for example. I know he's got not got good speed, but if you want to boost his dribbling and passing and shooting by using, you know, like an engine or a finisher or dead eye to boost his shooting and passing, or you know where I'm going with. It's like an artist to boost his passing dribbling. It should boost his dribbling to that level where you'll be able to use him. I know his pace isn't that good, but we can sort of work around that if his agility is good enough to use and his passing is good enough to use. But the game's coded where it will make players feel like they can't use certain types of players, so they go out there and spend FIFA points on the game to get the best players to help get in the better finishes in division rivals and foot champs and stuff like that. Now, why I feel like FIFA needs to change, because I feel like for the community sense, when no one really, well, people aren't in a good headspace when it comes to this game. They're expecting the game to play one way and it plays another, which is bad for the mental health, because people take football seriously. People who love football, who haven't unfortunately had the ability to go play football professionally, come to this game to de-stress after work or after school, or after being anywhere stressful. They come and de-stress by playing this game, and the game just adds stress on stress on stress. Now, I know we get told not to play the game, and it's hard to say that to someone like myself or like you guys watching this at home or on your video or on your tablet, wherever you are, to hear that, because you love football, you want to play football, you want to have that sense of being able to use the best players in the game. Now, I feel like if chemistry styles were more effective, we would start seeing a variety of actual different teams, rather than the Joe Gomez's, the Ferland Mendy's, the Varane's, the Kyle Walker's, the Neymar's, the Mbappe's, the Ronaldo's, Messi's, blah blah blah. Yes, you want the best players, but if you could use, say, a Correa from the Argentinian league, and I think he played for Atletico Madrid, if you give him a chemistry style boost like a Hunter or a Catalyst or even a finisher, he should feel just as clean as Messi does when he turns with the ball, or Pele does with the ball. And I feel like that's not the way the game works. Now, if we change subjects and we go into where the game needs to change, now what I'm going to run off is a list, and if you agree with the list, then let me know in the comments down below. If you feel there's something else that I've missed, let me know, and we'll cover that in another video. For me, the game needs to change in its passing, shooting, defending, AI controlled players, and tactics. Now, we start with the passing. Yes, I understand some players might not have good passing stats, so in terms where I'm aiming the pass might not essentially go there if their passing stats aren't brilliant. But if I just give you an example here, I've got Team of the Year KDB in my team right now, and he's got insane passing skills. Trying to play a 5-10 yard pass, you're talking out of your, let's just say, your backside trying to get it straight. It doesn't go where it goes. Now, EA have it in their system coded, assisted passing, assisted through balls. Now, the assisted passing should be to the player's feet. It's not. It says play into the player, in front of the player's path, avoiding your opponent's players. And I guess what? The assisted through balls say exactly the same thing. So when you're playing a pass, a normal ground pass, are you essentially playing a through ball at the same time? Does the game decide that it's just going to put it as a through ball instead of a pass? Because I've countless times tried to play a normal pass to my player's feet, but he whizzes it straight passing for my player to run onto. I've also done the same thing with through ball. And I'm sure you've done the same thing. I've tried playing a through ball into my player's path in front of the direction, but it goes straight to my player's feet. So there needs to be an equal balance. I need to change the settings on that system and say, look, passing is tries to get as close to the player's feet as possible, not in front of the player's pass, because that essentially is what a through ball is designed to do, not an assisted ground pass. Another example of passing would just be long passing in general. How many times, I know obviously the assisted passing bar helps with the direction and power bar, but how many times have you played a simple three bar through ball and it goes 5 yards? Or you've played a 1 bar through ball and it goes 40 yards? There has to be some kind of system where the game says, okay, 1 bar of power goes maybe 5 to 10 yards. 2 bars of power maybe goes 20 to 50 yards, or whatever. You know what I'm trying to get with this, or 3 bars of power maybe go 40 to 70 yards, whatever you want. It may be hard to integrate that into the system, because I suppose the game tries to dictate and decide where you pass to, who you pass to, because with delay, it's not easy. It doesn't matter whether you've got an Ethernet cable or the best Wi-Fi in the world. Trying to connect to a server and someone else at the same time, playing the same game mode, i.e. division rivals or foot champions, there is always that delay. It doesn't matter Whether you sit next to your router box like I'm doing with my Ethernet cable connected to my router box in my room, or whether you're in the next room upstairs or whatever in your house, or downstairs, whatever you play in your basements, whatever like that. It doesn't matter. The delay is always there. People suffer with it more. People can manage with it better, which is where the elite mentality comes in for the better players in the top 100 players or the best players in the world. But it doesn't matter. So we just change onto shooting. Again, shooting is another example where the game needs to change. Because the game is designed, if you go check your settings, there's an auto shot, which it decides what shot to do, and you don't have to decide. Now, if you leave it on, you want to play a finesse shot, that's fine. You have to hold R1 to finesse, which is fine. That's what it does. That's what it says on the tin. Now, if you press circle or B or whatever it is on PC, I don't know what it is on PC, but I'm just talking about PlayStation, Xbox controllers, and you just use the shoot button. In general, the game will decide whether to finesse it or power shot it. Straight up. Now, I presume, and it has been for many years until recently, the shoot button, whether you press finesse shot or not, it should be a power shot. Now, I want to press finesse shots, which is R1 or RB. So it does that, which is what it says on the tin. It should do that. But when we just talk about shooting in general, you can aim near post, and for some reason the game decides it's going to go centre of the goal or far post. You aim far post, it decides it's going to go near post or centre of the goal. You choose one bar of power, it decides it's going to shoot the bar over the crossbar, the ball over the bar. Sorry, or you press 2 bars of power and it scuffs the shot with no one around him. It doesn't matter. The game needs to change because I feel like shooting isn't as good. I know, okay, yes, maybe if your player hasn't got good shooting stats, i.e. if your centre half is up the field with 32 shooting and he shoots the ball, he might scuff the ball because he's not got that ability to properly shoot. But any professional footballer has an ability to shoot the ball, doesn't matter. Now, if you're using, say, Wayne Rooney or Messi or Neymar or Mbappe, Pele and Sabio or Cruyff or whatever you want to use, these good players, what I don't have in my team, the shooting is decent stats for them, but they're still scuff shots. So, what does the game decide when and where to scuff your shots? If there's no one around your player and there's no pressure on him, why should he scuff a shot? Why should he sky the ball over the crossbar from a 1 bar power shot? The game needs to change in that area. And then we talk about defending. Defending needs to change, and defending and AI control players sort of link together because you can play opponents who play one depth drop back, counter attacking rubbish ball. Let's just call it rubbish ball because that's what I prefer it as, and I don't use it because I think it's rubbish. Now, my opponent can use his CDM players. I'm absolutely fine with him controlling his CDM players. Now, if I'm running down the wing against his right back or left back, he is not controlling that player, so that player should not have the ability to track my player at full sprint speed, full acceleration, and should not be unbeatable to skill moves, should not be able to block my passes, because he is simply not controlling that player. And auto blocks comes into that assessment, or I presume I'm using the correct word there, or it comes into that accumulation of discussing defending AI control players, because you're stuck either way. You turn AI blocks off, your defenders will not try and block the ball. You will have to do everything manually. So if you get beaten by your opponent and he shoots the ball and your AI control player is there, he's going to block the ball because AI is blocked on. And if it's turned off, I haven't tried it, but I'm just presuming if it's turned off, your defender will not block that ball. Now, I feel like maybe in foot champs, defending should be manual. Because that's where you want the skill gap. You want the better players to be able to show their abilities. You want the best players to get the top rewards. You want the best players to qualify for your worldwide events. So maybe the whole foot champs scene should be manual. Maybe not for passing, because that is difficult to use. Passing and shooting is a difficult thing to get manually right, because to trying to get to learn the power bar and all this other stuff, it's difficult. It is terribly difficult, and I've tried it many times and I've failed miserably. Let's just put it that way. So I try to stick to semi-auto and auto, just because passing it makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about it too much. I mean, you can concentrate on attacking, but for defending wise, it should be manual defending for FUT champs. Division rivals, I'm not too essentially bothered, but then again, FUT champs and division rivals are essentially the same now, because you're playing against people in the same skill rating and the same division as you essentially, or people trying to move up closer to the division you're in right now. Just a quick note on the FUT champs and division rivals. Do you feel like in FUT champs, after you've played someone, their division rivals points stats should be there, or their ranking that they're currently at should be there? Let me know in the comments, because I feel like that should be a good assessment. If you know your sort of say 1500 skill rating and you beat someone who's 1200 skill rating or lose them, you know at least where you're at, and you know that you've underperformed or whatever. But I just feel like that would be something that's nice to see. They do that division rivals. You can see your opponent's skill rating when you beat them or when you lose to them, and you know where you've sort of gained and where you've lost. I feel that's something that should be integrated into FUT champs. Now, if we go into tactics, I personally feel like, I'm trying to remember because it was a long time ago, but in FIFA 09 there wasn't, you simply had your team, you had your manager, you had your formations that the player chose, that the players currently had and the manager had, and you had to try sort of figure it out, or you could go to the transfer market and buy formation changes. So obviously my formation is always in 4-4-2, so I would change my team to 4-4-2. But I'm pretty confident they never had this drop back, counter-attacking, possession ball. It was literally how you wanted to play football, you would play football. You decided whether your players made forward runs by using the trigger run buttons. In previous generations, I'm not too sure if it was on FIFA 09. But basically, they said I'd pass and move, so you could basically tell your player to pass and he would move. And now in this sort of game, it doesn't work as much. They have this new system where you make a pass and a move, you can flick your right analog stick and you can move in a different direction. But yet sometimes when you play the pass and move button and you're holding the L1, LB button, or whatever the pass and move button is on your console, you make the pass and the player doesn't move. Now, why is that? Why does that work? What is the game waiting for you to tell it to do? Is it waiting for you to tell it which direction to go in by flicking the right analog stick or whatever it is on any of these systems and controllers and consoles or whatever it is? It's also the same for triggering runs. If I'm aiming at my player, I'm triggering the run either to come short or go long. He should go long or come short. Now he doesn't, because you can control which way he goes either way. But the game waits for you to decide that, and it takes about 2 or 3 seconds before the game triggers that run for you to go forward or come backward. And it shouldn't be that case. I feel like I might feel, and I might not feel the same way as you, but if you do agree with me or you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I feel like FUT champs should be completely manual, apart from passing and shooting, obviously, because you kind of need some assistance in that. Tactics shouldn't be there. You should set your formation up, and the way you play is the way you play. You shouldn't have this drop back stuff on, because you need to be able to play the football you want to play, and it should be the best players make it through, regardless of regardless of whether there's tactics or no. The best players always make it through. They find a way to figure it out. So I feel like that should be manual systems. This game is a simulation game, but they added realistic features into it. Now, half the features they've added into this are not realistic. How many times have you had your opponent play a lob through ball over your defender, and your keeper comes rushing out because you've asked him to come rushing out, but the keeper doesn't do anything? He stands there, waits for the ball to come near him or go past him before he does anything. Now, if the ball's in front of him, a real life keeper will try and actually get the ball or get in the way of the defender's body and try and block the path. Or if your opponent's through and gone, you bring your keeper out, rather than your keeper doing this stupid animation where they turn sideways. They dive at the player's feet. And now anybody who's actually played real life football will know this. And I don't feel like EA know what real football looks like or feels like. Perhaps I might be wrong. People at EA might be playing football. They might know this, and they might be trying to spread their opinion around to the executives and saying, look, the game needs to change because it's not realistic. It's not doing this, and this, and people are losing interest. But the executives are going to go, well, deal with it. We're making money. Why should we change a game that we're constantly making money on? And for the diehards, I say diehards. What I mean by diehards is people who play the game every day for more than 2-3 hours, the grinders who are trying to get better at the game, it is essentially not playing to your favour. It's essentially playing towards a Timmy's favour who play every now and again, who moan about the game because they don't take the time to learn. They don't take the time to get better. And that's essentially where the money's coming in for the executive, because they're going to go out and they don't have the time to grind these players, or they see that an icon's in the SBC section, they haven't got the players, so they're going to go out and use FIFA points to open packs to get the players to grind the players. And essentially, in turn, they'll get better players. But they'll still moan because they haven't taken the time to learn the game. And people like you, me, many others out there who have taken the time to try and get better at the game are the ones suffering. Because the game is deteriorating, the gameplay is getting worse. There's nowhere that I can see this game getting better next year. I don't see it getting better. The menu, now, if we turn ourselves onto positives of the game, the menus have gotten better. The menus have got better because people are now able to grind for SBCs, they're able to grind for packs, they're able to grind for players that come out. Excuse me. But last year they had the league SBCs with league objective players. Now once you completed the league, you should be able to choose a player from that league. But now they haven't done that. They just give you packs. Or previous years, they were still there. You'd get better players for grinding the game. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people, I don't know if it's you, but me personally, I'm a gameplay player. I prefer to play gameplay and learn the systems and learn and get better. But a lot of people are changing away from gameplay, and they're just going to menu grinding, which is why I feel like they're trying to make the menus more user friendly, I guess is the way to say it, people friendly, because they're essentially making the game now just a trading card game rather than an actual football card game, by being able to go to the SBC section, complete players that you're probably not going to use, but you're just going to put into another SBC, or put into a cool team that you might use once or twice in Managerial Masterpiece, or that no chemistry mode, And I just feel like FIFA used to be about the gameplay. It used to be about the actual competitiveness and having fun in this game, and now people are just changing their mentality to being a menu grinder. I don't have anything against menu grinders. I think it's a great way of building your coins, to be able to get the best players, to be able to grind and then unlock the best players for your teams, but I just feel like if the game was more gameplay orientated, like they have been bringing out with the objectives and the squad foundations, where you actually have to play gameplay to get better players, I feel like if that was more integrated into the system, where you could actually say, I know a couple of YouTubers and a couple of streamers have brought this up before, but say you could unlock a player for your favourite team. Or not your favourite team, sorry, but your favourite nation. So they're saying you can unlock a great player for like an icon, or a club legend for that national team. I wouldn't say clubs, because some lower league clubs, like I'm a Sunderland fan, I don't see myself unlocking an unlockable Charlie Wyke or something like that. And maybe if they bring out legends for every single club, then that's something you can grind towards. That might be something they might bring off in future generations or whatever. But hey, it might be a good idea. I mean, if you're a Sunderland fan like me, and Sunderland legend like Kevin Phillips or Niall Quinn, and you can unlock a Niall Quinn and Kevin Phillips, that would be pretty cool, Or if you're a Blackpool fan, in Blackpool, Stanley Matthews or something like that, why not bring players like that? I know obviously they've got to get licensing and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to give a few ideas. But this game, it just needs to change for everyone's perspective. It needs to be more fun. It needs to be more enjoyable. And if we just continue on the path that he's going down, I can just see a lot of people just turning the game off completely, and not even playing the game. Gameplay may just be a thing in the past, and it may just become just a full trading card game, like you used to be able to do with Trumps, or the old Match Attacks, or the old football trading card game, where you just get the best players, you put them down on the game, and simply the game, well, not the game does it for you, because in real life the game can't do anything for you, but you know what I mean, the stats, whoever has the better stats, who have the better player, sort of wins that game. And it'd just be a simulation game, where you don't actually have to do anything, or like Football Manager, you just simply watch. Like they brought that back into career mode. Will that now transition into Ultimate Team over the years, if it just carries on, people losing interest in the gameplay? I hope not. I hope hope they fix gameplay, because I enjoy it, and I know you guys out there probably do enjoy the gameplay too. I think we're pretty much done on this conversation. I'm just a quick plug there. I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday on Twitch. I will leave links in the description down below if you want to follow the channel and keep up to date and moan with me, moan with me about the game. Have a laugh together about the game and my fails and your fails, and we can try and build a community. You can, keep each other positive, keep each other upbeat. We don't got we haven't. We're a generation. We haven't got time for depression, and we haven't got time. Well, I wouldn't say we haven't got time. We haven't got time to be depressed at a game. We haven't got time to sit there and cry about a game. We have to try and keep ourselves upbeat, and I'm a big advocate for mental health, who I believe that if you have the right people around you who know how to support you and can talk to you, and who's sort of been in the same situation you're in, and you can discuss things and keep each other happy, and let's just try and build that as a community. I'm always open to talk about mental health. I mean, I've suffered mental health problems myself. I won't go too much into this video because it's not about that on this video. And I've got people who are really close to me who have mental health problems. So I know how to kind of deal with it, and I can sort of maybe talk to you about my own experiences, and we can sort of get to know each other a bit better. So I'll leave links in the description down below on my Twitch channel, my Twitter channel, my Instagram channel. If you want to follow all 3 platforms, and feel free. If you want to hit that like button on this new video and get ourselves in the algorithm, we can get ourselves out there seen by more people. Maybe we can try and build a community together. Hit that subscribe button too if you want to be kept up to date. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching. If you have any different views on how you feel like FIFA should change and how the game might deteriorate or get better over the years, or anything you want to see implemented in the game, maybe we can talk about that in another video. Let me know in the comments. As always, it's been a pleasure to speak to you guys, and stay safe out there. Cheers.